Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to Weekly Wildlife Wisdom. So far, I've been your host, Zero Yeti. Without further ado, let's get into it with the first animal of the week being Amargasaurus. It is a genus of sauropod dinosaur which lived throughout what is today South America during the Hatorivian, Barremian, and Aptian stages of the early Cretaceous epoch, some 230 to 220 million years ago. The first and currently only known Amargasaurus specimen, a mostly complete skeleton with a partial skull, was discovered on February 1984 by Guillermo Rudiger at the La Amarga Arroyo in the Picun Lefu department of the Neuquén province in northern Patagonia. Apologies for butchering that. This was during the 8th expedition of the Project Jurassic and Cretaceous Terrestrial Vertebrates of South America, which was led by Jose Bonaparte and supported by the National Geographic Society. The same incursion also uncovered the nearly complete skeleton of the horned theropod Carnotaurus. The first unofficial mention of Amargasaurus as a new genus of dinosaur was published by Bonaparte in the 1984 Italian book Sulle orme dei dinosauri. Here, the species is designated as Amargasaurus grobergi, honoring Pablo Grober, which was then changed to Amargasaurus cazaui in the official description published in 1991 by Leonardo Salgado and Bonaparte in the Argentinian scientific journal Ami Hiniana. And the name Amargasaurus alludes to the site of the discovery, the La Amarga Arroyo. And La Amarga is also the name of a nearby town, and is as well as the geologic formation where the remains were recovered. The word amarga is Spanish for bitter, while sauros is Greek for lizard. The species name cazaui is named in honor of geologist. I know I was trying to say geologist Louise Cazaui. Reaching around 30 to 43 feet or 9 to 13 meters in length, and around 5,700 to 8,800 pounds, or 2,600 to 4,000 kilograms in weight, Amargasaurus was a large animal, but small for a sauropod. It followed the typical sauropod body plan with a long neck and tail, a small head, and a barrel-shaped trunk supported by 4 column-like limbs. The neck of Amargasaurus was shorter than most other sauropods, which is a common trait within Dicraeosauridae. The most striking features of the skeleton were the 2 parallel rows of extremely tall, upwardly projecting neural spines on the neck and anterior dorsal vertebrae. It has been proposed that in life the spines could have stuck out of the body as solitary structures that supported keratinous sheaths. However, it is a more favored position that these spines instead formed a scaffold supporting a skin sail. They might have also been used for display, combat, or as defense. Holobites, or also known as sea skaters, are a genus with over 40 species of water striders. Most Holobites species are coastal and typically found in sheltered marine habitats, where a few other genre of water striders also live. But 5 live on the surface of the open ocean and occur only near the coast when storms blow them ashore, making Holobites the only known truly marine insects. Holobites are found in tropical and subtropical marine habitats around the world. They generally prefer temperatures of 75 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit or 24 to 28 degrees Celsius, and are infrequent below 68 degrees Fahrenheit or 20 degrees Celsius. The coastal species of the are largely restricted to the Indo-Pacific region, with the exception of H. robustus from the Galapagos Islands. Some of the coastal species have very small ranges, often restricted to a single archipelago, whilst others are more widespread. They primarily occur, near mangroves and other marine plants. A single species, H. asarotus, has been recorded in rivers a few kilometers upstream from the ocean. 5 offshore pelagic species are H. micans, H. germanus, H. ceracis, H. splendids, and H. sombrinus, of which the last four are found in the Indian or Pacific Oceans, while H. micus has a circumglobal range, occurring offshore in warmer seas around the world from around 40 degrees north latitude and 40 degrees south latitude. And it is the only one found in the Atlantic Ocean, including the Caribbean. They are predators, with coastal species feeding mainly upon land-living insects that have fallen into the water, whilst the open ocean species mostly eat zooplankton, floating insects, fish eggs and larvae, and dead jellyfish. The small prey is caught and eaten by a single holobites, while larger prey, such as a small fish, may be eaten by 3 or 4 holobites at the same time. Adults may cannibalize their own nymphs, and old nymphs may cannibalize younger nymphs. But in general, they do not eat those of their own age class. Holobites are themselves regularly eaten by various fish and aquatic birds, especially nudies and storm petrels. Reaching up to 0.26 inches or 6.5 millimeters long and 0.12 inches or 3 millimeters wide, with a 0.59 inch or 15 millimeter leg span. Holobites are small insects. They lack wings and have long antennae, short front legs used for catching prey, long middle legs used for propulsion, and somewhat shorter rear legs used for steering. The nymphs resemble miniature versions of the adults, and the sexes are quite similar, with the exception of males being thinner than females and having a rear part of the body modified into genitalia. When gravid, the females may have a notably plump abdomen. The coastal species lay their eggs close to the water surface on rocks and plants and other structures near shore, whilst the oceanic species attach their eggs masses to floating objects such as cuttlebone, driftwood, garbage, and feathers. Each female lays 1 to 20 whitish translucent eggs, which each measure about 1 millimeter or 0.04 inches long and half that wide. They may hatch just above or just below the surface. Next up is Phasianus cloacaicus, better known as the ringneck pheasant, the blue-headed pheasant, is a bird in the pheasant family Phasanidae. Common pheasants are typically endemic to Asia and parts of Europe, with their native range extending from eastern Black Sea to the Caspian Sea to Manchuria, Siberia, Korea, mainland China, and Taiwan. Here they inhabit grasslands, open woodlands, farmlands, scrublands, and wetlands. Due to them being raised in captivity for food and being intentionally introduced to many areas to use for hunting, common pheasants can now be found across the globe, including much of mainland Europe, the British Isles, North Africa, the Hawaiian Islands, South America, Morocco, South Africa, New Zealand, Japan, and Australia. They are social gregarious birds which outside the breeding season form loose flocks of up to 50 individuals. Common pheasants spend most of their time on the ground, although they will roost in trees. They are swift runners and able short distance flyers, capable of reaching up to 55.9 miles per hour or 90 kilometers per hour. Pheasants eat a wide variety of fruit, seeds, grain, mass, berries, leaves, and invertebrates, along with the occasional small vertebrate, such as a lizard, rodent, or small bird. Common pheasants are themselves preyed upon by various felines, raccoons, skunks, canines, mustelids, larger snakes and lizards, snapping turtles, and birds of prey. The common pheasant is a strongly sexually dimorphic species, with females reaching around 19.5 to 25 inches or 50 to 63 centimeters in length and around 2 pounds or 0.9 kilograms in weight, with the 22 to 34 inch or 56 to 86 centimeter wingspan and sporting a duller mottled brown plumage, whilst males typically reach 23 to 35 inches or 60 to 89 centimeters in length, 2 pounds 10 ounces or 1.2 kilograms in weight, with a 22 to 34 inch or 56 to 86 centimeter wingspan. They sport barred, bright gold or fiery copper red and chestnut brown plumage with an iridescent sheen of green and purple. The rump uniform is sometimes blue. The wing coverts is a white or cream, and they have a long brown. Sorry, my vision keeps fading in and out. Streaked tail with black barred markings. The head is bottle green with a small crest and distinctive red wattle. Additionally, there are many color morphs of the common pheasant, which range from mostly white to yellow to gray to near completely black. During the mating season, males form harems of females. Common pheasants nest solely on the ground in scrapes, lined with some grass and leaves and frequently other vegetation, typically under dense cover such as hedges, bushes, or haystacks. Here, a mother pheasant will lay 8 to 18 pale olive eggs over the course of 2 to 3 weeks. The incubation period lasts around 22 to 27 days, and the chicks stay near the hen for several weeks after hatching, yet leave the nest only when a few hours old. After hatching, they grow quickly, flying at around 2 to 14 days, and resembling adults by only 15 weeks of age. Under no conditions, a common pheasant live upwards of 18 years. Next up is Mandrillus sphinx, better known, apologies if you can hear the train, it's better known as the mandrill. It is a large species of semi-arboreal Old World monkey native to the tropical rainforest, open woodland, savanna edges of west central Africa, including the countries of Cameroon, Gabon, Equatorial Guinea, and the Republic of the Congo. These monkeys live in large groups known as hordes, which can number from the dozens to the thousands. Females form the core of these groups, whilst adult males occupy the periphery, really only joining the hordes proper during the breeding season. The rest of the year, males tend to be solitary or seldomly seen forming all male bachelor groups. Mandrills are omnivores which feed upon fruit, nuts, leaves, flowers, seeds, and the pith of various plants, as well as mushrooms, various arachnids and insects, carrions, and eggs. Additionally, mandrills are also known to regularly work cooperatively to hunt larger vertebrate prey such as frogs, lizards, birds, rodents, and even bay doikers. Mandrills are themselves hunted by leopards, chimpanzees, rock pythons, and ground eagles, with females reaching 22 to 28 inches or 55 to 70 centimeters long and 22 to 33 pounds or 10 to 15 kilograms in weight, and males reaching 28 to 37 inches or 70 to 95 centimeters long and 42 to 66 pounds or 19 to 30 kilograms in weight. The mandrill is the most sexually dimorphic primate and the largest species of monkey. They sport a stocky body with large head and muzzle, as well as a short, stumpy tail. Females being leaner than males with shorter muzzle and longer limbs. The coat of the mandrill is similarly grizzled or branded olive oil with its branded olive brown. The coat of mandrill is primarily grizzled and branded olive brown, not olive oil, with a yellow-orange beard and sparse light hairs on the underside. The lips are surrounded by stiff white whiskers, and white bare skin exists beneath the ears. Male mandrills have a crest of long hairs on the head and neck, whilst both sexes have chest glands, which are covered by long hairs. The mandrill has a red line running along the middle of the face, which is next to the rest of the red on their nose. On either side of the line, the male's skin is blue, or the skin in general is blue and grooved. The asses and genitals of females are typically a bright red, whilst those of males are a multicolored mix of red, pink, purple, and blue. The breeding season typically lasts from June through September, and during such time, males will form a hierarchy, establishing an alpha through females will typically mate, though females will typically mate with both him and a number of subordinate males. After a 4.5 month pregnancy, a mother mandrill will give birth to a single infant, which is closely cared for by their mother until they are around a year of age, at which point they begin to gain some independence. Juveniles still choose to stay close to their mother's group until they're around 6 years old. And then males will leave their group to become solitary beta males, whilst females remain with their mother's horde for the rest of their lives. Under Diocetus, a mandrill may live upwards of 40 years. Next up is Cygnus olor, better known as the mute swan, is a species of swan native to much of Eurasia and parts of North America, and has been introduced to North America, Australasia, and North Africa. They typically inhabit rivers, lakes, ponds, wetlands, marshes, canals, estuaries, and shallow coastal waters. Although juveniles may form fairly large flocks, most adult mute swans live alone or in mated pairs. They feed on a wide range of vegetation, both aquatic and terrestrial, as well as aquatic insects, small fish, and amphibians. Mute swans themselves preyed upon by felines, canines, bears, snapping turtles, eagles, and very large predatory fish. Ranging from around 49 to 67 inches or 125 to 170 centimeters in length and 17 to 33 pounds or 7.6 to 15 kilograms in weight, with a 79 to 94 inch or 200 to 240 centimeter wingspan. On average, the mute swan is the second largest waterfowl species, only behind the trumpeter swan. The plumage is white while the legs are webbed and the feet are dark gray. The bill is often bright orange and they sport a small knob on their bills above their nostrils. The color morph Ceomorpha mutabilis is also known as the Polish swan. It has pinkish legs and dull white cygnets. Mute swans nest in large mounds that they have built with the water-side vegetation in the shallow water on islands in the middle or on the very edge of a body of water. They are a monogamous species which often reuse the same nest each year. Here 4 to 10 eggs are laid, which will be incubated by the mother until she has them hatch some 35 days later. The young birds, called cygnets, are gray and their bill is dull grayish black for the first year of their life. Cygnets grow quickly in reaching a size close to their adult size after around 3 months after hatching, and they fledge around 4 to 5 months, but do not shift fully adult coloration until they reach at least a year of age. Under ideal conditions, a mute swan will leave their parents around 10 months of age and reach sexual maturity around 3 years and live up to 30 years. Next up is Viergacht irregularis, also known as the brown tree snake, the brown cat snake, is an arboreal rear-fanged colubrid snake native to eastern northern coastal Australia, eastern Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, and many islands in northwestern Melanesia. Due to its accidental exposure after the events of accidental exposure or accidental introduction. It has been after the events of World War II. The snake is now infamous for being an invasive species responsible for extirpating the majority of native bird and mammals populations from Guam. Extensive ongoing efforts are being made to reduce and control the population on Guam and to prevent the snake from spreading to other locations. Brown tree snakes typically inhabit both dry and rainforests, grasslands, and caves. These primarily nocturnal snakes spend their days in the trees, hollow logs, rock crevasses, caves, or buildings, where they are generalist feeders which prey upon the variety of insects, as well as other invertebrates, birds, amphibians, lizards, small snakes, eggs, bats, shrews, small marsupials, and rodents. Reaching on average 3.3 to 6.6 feet or 1 to 2 meters, with exceptional individuals getting up to 9.8 feet or 3 meters in length. The brown tree snake has a long and a slender animal with a large head and distinctive cat-like vertical pupils. They may vary in color from being lightly patterned brown to yellowish or green, or even beige with red. The snake has numerous teeth, but only the last two of each side of the upper jaw have grooves, which inject the venom as it bites. Therefore, the snake's mouth must be open as wide as possible in order to insert and expose its fangs. A chewing motion is used by the snake to inject the venom by means of capillary action along the grooved fangs. The venom is used to subdue and kill prey on which the snake feeds. However, the venom is not considered to be dangerous to adult humans. Breeding may occur year-round based on climatic conditions, with females laying up to 2 clutches of 4 to 12 leathery oblong eggs inside of a hollow tree, fallen log, or rock crevice. These eggs hatch after around 90 days incubation. Under ideal conditions, a brown tree snake will reach sexual maturity around 3 to 4 years of age and may live up to 15. And our last animal week is Ambulocetus, which is a genus of early amphibious cetacean which lived throughout what is now Central Asia during the Lutean stage of the early Eocene, some 48 to 47 million years ago. First known remains of Ambulocetus, consisting of a fairly complete skeleton, were recovered from the upper Kludana Formation of the Kala Chita Hills, Punjab, Pakistan, in 1991 during a joint fossil expedition by Howard University and the Geological Survey of Pakistan by paleontologists Muhammad Arif and Hans Thewissen. Initially, the duo couldn't afford to ship and fully prepare the specimen, so Thewissen took the skull with him to the United States, whilst Arif kept the rest of the skeleton in Pakistan. In October 1992, Thewissen presented his research of the skull to a vertebrate paleontology convention in Toronto, Canada. Next year, American paleontologist Philip D. Gingerich paid for the rest of the skeleton to be shipped to the United States. In 1994, the formal description of the remains was published by Thewissen, Arif, and mammal paleontologist Saadye Taseer Hussain. They identified the remains as clearly belonging to an amphibious cetacean, and so they named it Ambulocetus natans. The genus name comes from the Latin ambular, meaning to walk, and cetus, meaning whale, while the species name natas, meaning swimming. Reaching around 10 feet or 3.05 meters long and 310 to 660 pounds, 140 to 300 kilograms in weight, Ambulocetus had a narrow, streamlined body with a long, broad snout, with eyes positioned at the top of its head. Additionally, its ears possess similar traits to modern cetaceans, which are specialized for hearing and detecting certain frequencies underwater. It is thought that they would have swum much like a modern river otter, tucking in its forelimbs while alerting its hind limbs for as much propulsion as possible, as well as undulating the torso and the tail. They may have had web feet, but unlike its modern relatives like the tail fluke, on land, Ambulocetus may have walked much like a modern sea lion. As always, take care to my guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Have a good one.